good, everybody? Back once again, and Payback is in the books. It's over, finito kaput. And surprisingly enough, it was a really good pay-per-view. Uh, I mean, Trips has sort of been doing like a really good job of the pay-per-views, and all the pay-per-views have really been good. Even like SummerSlam, I didn't really fully enjoy, but it was still good. But this one, I think, pretty much to me there wasn't any misses at all here. Like whereas like some of the other ones you'd be like, oh, skip this match, skip this match. Uh, I mean, get the I guess the least out the way of Theory and Mysterio, and even then, it like the match itself was fine. It's just really because there's really no build. There was nothing there. It just seemed like it was just a throw in. I guess that's why I did this one first, because I'm like I liked all the offense that Theory was doing. I liked a lot of the moves. He had a lot of aggressiveness. It just doesn't have it. It just there's no feels. There's nothing there. Even when Ray was like coming back or nothing like that, you didn't feel it from the crowd at all. It just felt like, okay, cool, yeah. Like they're like, I was gonna say, except for really like that LWO coming out and their merch and like everybody being all happy, that's really the only thing with the match. But like the match itself was fine. I was like, good. It was a straight good match. I was like, there's nothing spectacular about any part of it at all. So, but after that, I don't know what everybody else's stuff will be, but let's just go with Trish and Becky. That was hella entertaining. I mean, I was like, I didn't know what we were gonna get out of it, but the amount of bumps and spots that Trish took, to the point that she just had what it looked like was bumps and bruises all on her head. She had like a welt or whatever on her forehead or whatnot. Like, she was going all out. And I was like, there was a couple that I thought that I was like, she didn't do, but I felt like if this was like 10 years, like she was 10 years younger, like they were at the top of the cage, and I'm like, they would have did a superplex probably off of there if it would have, but I was like, they still did a superplex. Like Trish was dangling on the side of the cage. I was like, they let Trish get a lot of offense in and was just throwing Becky around and really roughing Becky up. I was like, I don't think they were like a botch here at all, or not. Like this was really like smooth. It was great. The action was pretty much nonstop. I was like Trish playing toward the crowd. No, it was overall it was a really good match. Even towards the end where Becky was just giving everybody the man slams and whatnot. Then Zoe trying to get her 2 cents in and didn't work. But Becky came out with the win and possibly setting Zoe and Trish maybe up for something, or but Zoe got the rub off of it, so it also ended out pretty well in that end too. A really good match. I'm gonna say probably my favorite match. Like that one probably that one's at the top of my favorite match was the street fight with KO, Sammy, and Judgment Day. Normally with these, I was like, you sort of can't go wrong with the, like a hardcore free for all type of match. But this one pretty much had really good spots, really good pacing, especially with the amount of people that's involved, to where the numbers ended up getting KO and Sammy, but it didn't impact them the whole time during the match to make it just seem overwhelming that just like, of course they're not going to win. There's too many people. They actually made it, several times that they were going to retain the title. But at every spot, basically, like Dom came up and helped. There were JD spots. I was like, he over here got a power bomb by KO, and that was crazy. He sold out when he just like sprawled out like, just looked like an NPC character just out here just getting hit. uh like KO over here doing the time, the Hardy spots, and he got it, but he didn't get all the way of it, but he got enough for it to look great. Uh, I was like, but I love the spot of just like Rhea coming out of nowhere and just spearing KO through the barricade. I was like that was awesome. And they got the win. I wanted Judgment Day to get it. I didn't think they would, but I'm sort of glad that they did. One, they needed some victory, but also two, this also just builds the turmoil and all the other stuff that's going on with them in all that situation. But really good match. It was great. Good. Uh, Rhea and Raquel. I thought it was. It felt like it felt like a match that was going to have a sequel to it, but I thought it was a really like it had a build to it. Cause at first it was just like, okay, cool. They got to do the whole, we both big, we both strong. That feel out type of thing. They let Raquel pretty much, they try to start off, and then Rhea just, it's like whatever it is, like KO getting bloodied up in the last match or something like that. One blood happens, it seemed like that just opens up a whole new person. Rhea like busted her nose or got her nose cut up or something like that. Because I was like, I know she got the rings in there and stuff like that, but I don't know. But it was just like blooded up, but it wasn't bad. Like you really couldn't tell. Like the commentator wasn't even like talking about it. I ain't really hear nobody else really speak on it. So it was very subtle. But then you just seen her doing like snot rockets, and there's one where she did it, and it was just dangled. And I'm like, why did nobody talk about this? Why did nobody? I was like, this is like grossly cool. I was like, it's just like here, and she had to just like take it, just like sling it aside. But then she started putting up bloody hands all on Raquel or whatnot. But yeah, no. Then they started letting Raquel get. It was like a sandwich at first. Raquel, Rhea, Raquel. Don't let your mind wander. But then Dom comes out and gives that extra little for Raquel to get distracted and lose, which so the way that happens sort of makes it like, okay, this is not just a one-off type of thing. This is gonna be a continuation, And I was like, and at this point, I was like, Rhea needs somebody on that level for her to fight. Of like, maybe like she don't have like the pop that some of the other people is until like Becky or something like that gets into that feud. But I was like, but she'll give you the match that you need, and at some point I feel like they'll do a match that's either like hardcore or something to where Dom isn't won't like him getting involved won't affect anything. But still, great match. I was like, you could sort of understand the pacing of stuff because like this isn't when how to build. It was sort of a little bit you had to work for it. But I was like, but when you have like two big dominant people, that's sort of how it's gonna go. I was like, they had a little mini, segment where they had like Grayson Waller come out. He talked some junk about Cody Rhodes. Then we get the news that Jimmy Uso's moving over to Raw, which is like cool. They're gonna do this whole split, get them all their individual chances to see if I get pretty much to see if you could be worthy of being in main events. Now I wonder if that makes him going like main event top, like like him for the World Heavyweight Championship, or does that just mean like main eventing and like matches? How to do like 6-man tags, stuff like that, or like high end on like the mid card title, like see how he does with a mid card first, then try to see, like basically like once you're out of the bloodline, once you're away from Roman Reigns, do people still want to interact and see you with a championship? Also, how do you do when you don't have your rest of your family interact? That whole trial and whatnot that they're pretty much gonna do with that. I was like, so then we had LA Knight and The Miz, John Cena, special guest referee. I like it. Sort of felt like a long match, but it didn't once you started interacting John Cena into it and having him and Miz, getting into it with also then him and LA Knight getting into it. So therefore, that's part of the story sort of got to draw out that I think made the match link work than if it was just a straight up match of them just going at it. Just because I mean, especially how like people are like with the Miz, he's not like that type of wrestler in that type of way. LA Knight isn't really either. They're both like just good talkers. So it can get drawn out, but with John Cena, there was an extra element. But we all knew who's gonna win. We all knew this how it's gonna go. And I don't think they're gonna set up anything really with John Cena or I don't think that's any. Then I know they sort of teased or whatever, but I don't think there's gonna be coming nothing that. Then the last match was Shinsuke and Seth Rollins. I thought it was weird that Seth Rollins comes out first in this scenario, but then they had like a comic book manga type of thing for Shinsuke, and I seen that and I was just thinking he might actually win. I didn't see that coming. He gonna win? That's okay. I'm here for it. It's sort of weird. It's sort of a showdown of like they're very similar in ways. The entrance. They're very theatrical. They're the way they do their match. Like you've seen it in this one where it's like you gain momentum, but you like you're a little slow, you're a little sluggish. You pick it up, then you get like you're tired, and then you're just looking for like some vulnerable areas, or this was Seth's back being vulnerable, but also in the match, Seth was also looking for spots to get Shinsuke because he really wasn't beating up Shinsuke. It was really just like enduring, the whole time, his back, his back was a major theme. I did like Shinsuke being theatrical of like rubbing on his back up and just like laughing and mocking him and stuff like that. But to me, it was really reminiscent of him when he faced AJ in a way that it had the story a little bit. The steam wasn't all the way there. Then it picks up enough, and then it's kind of just like, and that's how I felt like the end. I was like, and not that I wanted. I mean, not that I like Shinsuke needed to win for it to feel it or whatever. I did feel throughout the match and how like the crowd was going that I was like, oh, Shinsuke might actually. I didn't think he was fully gonna win, but I thought he could win and everybody be fine with it. But the way it just sort of it really did feel lackluster, even though Seth had to just give him a stomp because it's like that was his one opening. He can't set it up because Shinsuke been able to counter him and stuff. But and apparently at the end of which you could sort of see and you wonder if it's going to happen, he just in the background, but he attacked Seth, so it makes a little bit more sense that in this match it always felt like it wasn't over. Like when he fought AJ several years ago, it wasn't over, which they then proceeded to fight several more months. The question is, or maybe not the question, but the hope is that do you really want to go as many matches and as long as it did with AJ to also never win the championship? Because it sort of seemed at the end of this that I was like, I don't think at the end of this Seth is keeping it. It seems like either Priest might cash in or Shinsuke is going to win it. That's pretty much seems how it's going to go. Because it'd just be weird to have. I mean, like after you already did the whole like video package and the comic book thing and the whole playing on the back and how Shinsuke is there, I'm like, if you do a second match and he loses, it's like once again it's like, well, there goes the whole Shinsuke momentum again kind of thing. But either way, I was like, it's sort of weird that at Payback I mean, for the story to a Payback, but it's also a continuation. More time. Pay-per-view names. Anyway, that's my little synopsis of the pay-per-view, which I was like, I was more than entertained. I was like, there was no match where I was just like, except for the theory one or whatever. Like, but even though we knew pretty much who's gonna win all these matches, that's probably except for the Judgment Day one, all entertaining, all still being like it could go either way, even though you know who it is, and that's what to me is a good pay per view here. Anyway, if you liked any of my review, any thing that you got to say, let me know. I was like, maybe you also noticed the little loogie drippage from Rhea and all of her mommy gloriness. Anyway, if you didn't like the video, hey, maybe next time. But till then, peace. I'm out.